Hello, and welcome back to our podcast. I am so glad you decided to join me again today. Please take a moment to find a comfortable seat and take a deep breath because today we are going to explore a very powerful emotion. It is something that stops many of us from living our best lives, which is the psychology of fear. But do not worry, because we will also talk about its best friend, which is courage. Let me start with a question. What are you afraid of? Is it speaking in front of a crowd, or starting a new business? Or maybe just talking to a stranger at a party? For a long time, we thought that fear was a bad thing. We thought it was a sign of weakness. But science tells us something very different. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is actually your oldest friend and protector. In this episode, we will learn why we feel fear and how we can use it to grow stronger. So let's begin our journey together. To understand fear, we must travel back in time to thousands of years ago. Imagine your ancestor living in a cave. One day, he goes out to find food, and he sees a hungry lion. Immediately, his heart beats fast, and his hands shake, and his muscles get tight. This is called the fight or flight response. This fear saved his life because it gave him the energy to run away very fast. But today, in our modern world, we do not see lions. We see emails and deadlines and public speaking. The problem is that our brain cannot tell the difference. It reacts to a difficult email exactly the same way it reacts to a lion. Let's look at a story of two friends named Leo and Maya. Both of them want to learn how to swim, but they are both afraid of deep water. Leo listens to his fear and decides to stay on the beach where it is safe. He feels comfortable, but he never learns to swim. Maya is also afraid, and her heart is beating fast, but she decides to get into the water anyway. She starts in the shallow water and practices every day. 1 year passes. Leo is still on the beach, watching others have fun. But Maya is swimming in the ocean and feels proud and strong. This story teaches us that the only difference between them is not the fear itself, but how they reacted to it. This brings us to a very famous concept called the comfort zone. Imagine a circle around you. Inside this circle, everything is safe and easy and familiar. Outside the circle is the danger zone where things are new and scary. Leo stayed inside the circle, and his world stayed small. Maya stepped out of the circle, and her world got bigger. Psychologists say that all growth happens outside the comfort zone. When you do something that makes you nervous, you are actually stretching your personality, just like stretching a muscle. There is a wonderful acronym for fear that I want you to remember. It stands for false evidence appearing real. This means that most of the things we worry about never actually happen. We create horror movies in our minds about the future. We think everyone will laugh at us or we will fail miserably. But usually the reality is much kinder than our imagination. So, how can we overcome fear? There is a biological trick that athletes use. Did you know that the feeling of fear and the feeling of excitement are almost exactly the same? When you are afraid, your hands shake and your heart races. When you are excited, your hands shake and your heart races. The body reaction is the same, but the story in your mind is different. Next time you feel nervous before a meeting, do not say, "I am afraid." Instead, say, "I am excited." This simple change can trick your brain into feeling powerful instead of weak. Another practical tool is called the 5-second rule. This was made famous by Mel Robbins. The idea is simple. When you have an impulse to do something brave, like raising your hand in class or introducing yourself to someone, you have only 5 seconds before your brain kills the idea. Your brain wants to keep you safe and silent. So the moment you feel the instinct to act, you must count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then just move. This countdown shuts down the fearful part of your brain and activates the action part. We also need to talk about failure. Many people do not start because they are afraid to fail. But in psychology, failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of success. Every master was once a disaster. When you were a baby and learned to walk, you fell down hundreds of times. You did not think, "I am a failure at walking, so I will stop." No, you stood up and tried again. We need to bring that baby mindset back into our adult lives. Now, I want to share a secret about courage. Many people think courage means you have no fear. This is wrong. If you are not afraid, you do not need courage. Courage is when you are terrified, but you do it anyway. It is like walking in the dark. You cannot see the whole path, but you take the first step. And then you take the next step. Action is the cure for fear. The longer you wait and think, the bigger the fear becomes. But the moment you take action, the fear starts to shrink. Before we finish, let's think about your future self. Imagine yourself 10 years from now. If you let fear control your decisions today, you might feel regret. But if you face your fears today, you will look back with pride. You do not have to do big things immediately. You can start small. Send that message. Ask that question. Buy that ticket. We are coming to the end of our episode. Remember that fear is just a biological signal. It means you are about to do something brave and important. Do not let the caveman brain stop you from enjoying the modern world. Thank you for listening to the Psychology of Fear and Courage. I believe in you, and I know you can be brave. Until next time, take care of your mind and keep moving forward. Thank you for listening to the main story. But before you go, please stay with me for 2 more minutes. We are going to do a quick review of the most important vocabulary and phrases we used today. This will help you remember them better. Are you ready? Let's go. Number 1 is the term fight or flight. This is a biological reaction. When we see danger, our body prepares to either fight the enemy or run away flight. In the story we said, the lion triggered the fight or flight response. Here is another example. When the fire alarm rang, my fight or flight instinct kicked in. Number 2 is the adjective miserable. If something fails miserably, it means it fails very badly and makes you feel terrible. In the story we said, we worry that we will fail miserably. Here is another example. The weather was miserable, so we stayed inside all day. Number 3 is the phrase comfort zone. This is a psychological state where you feel safe and at ease, and you are not tested. In the story we said, growth happens outside the comfort zone. Here is another example. Traveling alone forced me out of my comfort zone. Number 4 is the noun instinct. An instinct is a natural feeling that makes you act without thinking. It is like an automatic pilot. In the story we said, when you feel the instinct to act, count backwards. Here is another example. Birds have an instinct to fly south in the winter. Number 5 is the verb shrink. To shrink means to become smaller in size. It is the opposite of grow. In the story we said, when you take action, the fear starts to shrink. Here is another example. I washed my sweater in hot water, and it shrank. And finally, number 6, kick in. This is a phrasal verb. When something kicks in, it starts to work or becomes active. In the story, we imply the 5-second rule helps before fear kicks in. Here is another example. The medicine took 20 minutes to kick in. Excellent job today. You have learned about your brain and 6 powerful English expressions. Now you are ready to face your day with courage. Goodbye for now.